is the Tiki and Tierney show on this football Friday. We're revved up. You're revved up. Bring on those Pats. Bring on those Seattle Seahawks. Tiki,
I was going to say, forget the Pats.
Hey.
Let's go to Seattle.
You know, we are starting with the Giants, and I'm happy that you direct us there. I was going to get us there anyway. Giants, you're out of the chute here. Jets will get to you in a little bit. You know what's interesting about this game? And really the portrayal of the season that Daniel Jones has had so far, which, by the way, has been very good, as we know. And in a lot of ways, I think when you contrast it to Geno Smith's story out with Seattle, I got to be honest with you. You know, I think too many people are still sleeping on the year that Geno's having. You hear it a lot of, well, it's a cute story. Oh, it's a nice story. Oh, he's finally found his way a little bit. I got news for you. Geno Smith, right, and I don't really think that this is debatable, and I'm down to debate anything, but I don't know how you could really, truly debate this. I think that Geno Smith right now is the absolute best individual story in the NFL. He leads the league in completion percentage, 73.5. He's got 11 touchdowns. Daniel Jones has 6. He's got 8 yards an attempt. Daniel Jones is below 7. His rating dwarfs Daniel Jones. Jones more with the wheels, but not as much as you think. Bottom line is this. We love Daniel Jones' ascension this year. We love what we think Dable can ultimately do with him and for him with more talent around him. But I'm telling you, all right, for this Daniel Jones energy to keep going, he needs to walk off that field on Sunday and have a better game and beat the guy who is clearly outplaying him so far this season.
I mean,
let's go.
Outplaying is hard because it's relative. Geno Smith, it's hard to accept that Geno Smith is actually good. I keep looking. I'm serious. I keep looking at tape and watching games of Seattle, and I'm like, all right, what are they doing? They must be making it easy for him. A lot of smoke screens, a lot of things that are easy completions, and you don't see it. You see him making throws in the pocket, keeping his head downfield, being a great leader, getting rid of the ball when he instead of making mistakes, putting it where his receivers can catch it. He's actually good. As crazy as it is, he's good.
He is.
It's a testament, or actually an indictment on how bad the Jets were. And maybe he was young at that time and he hadn't learned and whatever it is. But Geno Smith is a good quarterback. But Daniel Jones, relative to the New York Giants, has been exactly what the Giants need. They don't need a guy who can throw the ball for 350 yards a game. They need someone who's not going to turn it over, who's going to keep games tight, who's going to run it when he has to. He's going to have designed plays that make this offense so varied it's difficult to defend. All of a sudden, when you got to defend 6 skill position guys as opposed to 4 or 5 skill position guys, and that 6th being the quarterback or 5th being the quarterback, it makes it harder as a defender. Now, all of a sudden, you're thinking about, as a defensive end, should I be chasing down Saquon Barkley, or do I got to look at the quarterback? And if that moment of indecision is wrong, then Saquon Barkley's going for 20 yards, or Daniel Jones is going for 15 or 20 yards. So he's become the perfect answer for this Giants offense that for the last 2 or 3 years has been stagnant and ineffective, and there was nothing that you looked at for optimism. So Daniel Jones, in his own way, has having as good of a season as Geno Smith is, even though Geno Smith's season is looked at more favorably.
He's not having as good a season.
Of the
Come
statistics.
on, dude.
The team is 6-1.
I understand
They're
that.
6-1, and it's
Seattle was supposed to have the top pick of the draft, like a doormat, like the Giants.
The Giants were supposed to be.
Well, that's true too. No, I got you on that.
Dwellers, and they're 6-1. And Daniel Jones has had 5 fourth quarter comebacks.
He's been terrific. This is not to minimize Daniel Jones. All I'm saying is, see, I look at this season through 2 different prisms with Daniel Jones. The context of this season, little overachievement. Now, how far can we push it? Trade deadline's coming up on 2. I'm telling you, Giants are going to make another move. I honestly believe the Giants are going to make it up. Whether it's Jerry Jeudy, I don't know, DJ Moore, Giants are going to make a move here. I think yesterday was just a precursor to another move. But the context of this season for Jones, which has been overwhelmingly successful, there's no doubt. And then, of course, the context of the contract. Is he the future of the Giants? Blah, blah, blah. And that's, we kind of analyze that on a week-to-week basis, which I get. That's the nature of where he is. Top 10 pick, couple of years in, new regime. Are you worth the money? We'll find out. You're right. Geno Smith is good. Geno Smith always had arm talent. Geno Smith was always a pretty good athlete. but he is still what he is, and that is a 30-year-old transient quarterback who up until this year hasn't done a damn thing in the NFL. And by the way, this week will be without his all-world receiver, who is a nightmare, a matchup nightmare in terms of DK Metcalf. Listen, I know you can't control everything, all right? If the defense gets gashed, which I don't think they will, but if they did, or if Saquon puts it on the turf, or there's injuries, I get that. But in terms of the quarterback evaluation, if we're going to really see Daniel Jones elevate to that spot, $22, $25, $28 million a year, you got to beat Geno Smith. Mm-hmm. It's got to be clearly discernible that you are the best quarterback on the field this week. Well, that's my opinion.
Well, I mean, there's not a lot of ways to put apples to oranges, because they're being asked to do two different things, right? Geno Smith is being asked to be a traditional drop back passer. They do a lot of play action because of Kenny or Walker III, who's had a phenomenal rookie season already. Whereas Daniel Jones is asked to don't turn the football over, use your legs. There's a lot of like quarterback draws. There's a design. There's a lot of zone reads where he's reading a defensive end, and if the end crashes down, or whoever the read is, sometimes it's the linebacker, reading the linebacker or the defensive end. If they crash and take the running back, he keeps it, and he runs, and he's deceptively athletic, and he uses that athleticism to his advantage. I mean, he's top 7, maybe it's top 5. He's top 5 and plus 10-yard runs in the NFL. Saquon is up there. Lamar Jackson's up there. I forget the other 2 running backs that are there. But Daniel Jones.
Was Breece Hall there?
Breece Hall was obviously there.
Right?
But obviously he's hurt now. But he's top 5 and plus 10-yard runs.
Mm-hmm.
Volume. Like, I think it's 15 of them, right? Which is crazy. He's a quarterback.
Well, he's got almost 350 yards rushing, so that adds up.
And so I think he's excelling at what he's been asked to do, as is Geno Smith. The question is, which one is going to come out on top this weekend? And you're right. Daniel Jones needs to obviously be in the winning column for the New York Giants, but he needs to outplay Geno. And then maybe we stop ignoring how great he's been this season, because his QB rating is spectacular.
Talk about both or specific Daniel?
I'm talking Daniel Jones' QB rating.
It's very good.
He's top 6 in the NFL.
And Geno's number 1.
I know that, but also nobody thought Daniel Jones would be a top.
Nobody thought Geno Smith would be doing this. Nobody.
Yeah,
3 teams said we'll bring you in and then we'll get rid of you, including the team that you're playing on Sunday.
It's a good point.
877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan inside of our Town Fair Tire studio on this awesome Football Friday. The vibes are good. We're ready. Of course, we remind you that at Town Fair, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Now, we talk about, and it happens, it works favorably, and it works, in terms of adversely impacting athletes here. Like, when a New York athlete does something well, it's magnified, to the umpteenth degree.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes blown out of proportion, and it's a little reckless. Now, when things go awry, we just hammer you to basically till it's over and you get dealt, right? So I understand that. But I also think that when you look at Daniel Jones' season, which again has been, you get graded as a quarterback on wins, right? Mm-hmm. And do you protect the football? There's no doubt. And I'm not here to diminish what Daniel Jones has done at all. I really liked it. I've always liked Daniel Jones, and I've always believed in him more, like you, than a lot of people said he's trash. No, because there were circumstances that really led to his early demise as a quarterback, if demise is even the right word, right? But if Geno Smith was doing, or if Daniel Jones was doing exactly statistically what Geno Smith is doing out there, I need to reiterate this. He leads the league in passing completion, almost 74%. He's got 11 touchdowns, 3 picks. So when you say that Daniel Jones is tasked with not turning the ball over, Geno has 1 more turnover. So it applies as well.
Yeah.
The ratings aren't close. The yards per attempt are not close. If Geno Smith was doing this for the Giants, or Daniel Jones was doing this for the Giants, or Zach Wilson had those numbers for the Jets, we would be saying every day he's an MVP candidate. Mm. That's irrefutable, because right now Geno actually is. Don't give me this nonsense of comeback player of the year award.
Yeah.
This guy's going to throw, if he stays healthy, 30 touchdowns, and who knows how many games he's going to win. This is such a measurement game for Daniel Jones. I don't expect you, even though you did beat Lamar Jackson, I don't expect you, like if you face Mahomes, to necessarily beat Mahomes or Josh Allen. That's the next stratosphere. That's the best of the best. Outplay Geno Smith. Because at the end of the day, he's still Geno Smith.
He is, but he's been really good. He's beaten the Denver Broncos, and take that for what it is. The Detroit Lions.
They stink.
I know. I'm just laying it out. The Detroit Lions, the Arizona Cardinals.
Stink.
Exactly. And the L.A. Chargers, who actually also might stink a little bit.
But talented.
Yes, they are. But for whatever reason, they're a disappointment.
Weird.
They're the most,
big time.
They might be the most disappointing team in the NFL this year.
That might be tough to refute. Them and the Browns. Browns are pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
No, you might be right with the Chargers.
Browns, we kind of knew.
The Bucks.
We know what
the Bucks.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
But the Chargers are on the short list. I'm with you on
But
that.
we saw the Bucks with the Tom Brady stuff this offseason, missing a month or whatever it was, 2 weeks of training camp and all the stuff going on, the distraction that affecting him, but also affecting his team. It's definitely the Bucks, but the Chargers are a really close second. But anyway, my point is, the Seattle Seahawks really haven't beat anybody, and so both of these teams are at an interesting inflection point as they face each other. Mm-hmm. Are they for real? Obviously, they're leading the division. Seattle is, but the West is very weak and underperforming. The Giants are surprised 6-1. Are they for real? Is Seattle for real? We'll find out on Sunday.
877-337-6666. I think you guys need to kind of recalibrate the narrative here. It's not just, look what Geno's doing out there at Seattle. Geno's destroying the league now. And you're right. The teams that they play, much like the Giants outside of Dallas, the Giants have had a favorable, and the Ravens are a good franchise generally, but the Giants have played some teams that, are weaker and not going anywhere. This is an interesting inflection point, to use Tiki's word, and I think it's time for Jones to, while he's often been very good, and he's really been at the forefront, him and Saquon in coaching, of all these wins, I think this is a real chance to once again show that he deserves to be here for a long time and eventually get some real money. What do you think? It's go time for Jones. You got to outplay Geno Smith. 877-337-6666. Hey, the Jets did something yesterday that I absolutely love. It is a Monster Football Friday. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan.